Hi everybody. Today I want to speak about something about some art paintings and so on. We can start with this part and maybe I can control your messages. Okay. Solana painted this artwork during the Black Spain period. In the 1920s, most people lived in deep poverty, especially women like this core women. They couldn't find enough food to feed themselves, and they had to eat garbanzo, namely chickpea soup, every day. You can see the dog at the bottom right of the painting. It represents a safe shelter and a loyalty which the choir girl couldn't find in her lifetime. Every painting and historical event should be explained from the perspective of the three basic needs. We have a lot of women like the choir woman in the yellow dress, and we can build a society for every one of them. How can we do it? We have lands that no one uses. We have plants. We can build living spaces from natural materials, cultivate food for us, and establish a school for education about the meaning of life. What was the best education for the choir girls, their slave owners, and every one of us, whether we are a slave or a slave owner? We love your neighbor as yourself. Education can guarantee food, safe shelter, and a good environment for every one of us. This is a marathon. In our era, we can build a society for our next generation. We can start simply on our social media and in online conferences. I am a volunteer for it. You can start to support me in building a love your neighbor as yourself school through food from a food forest, safe shelter from natural materials, and the meaning of life. We are guests on this earth, and we can pass through this world while singing a beautiful song. While the original masterpiece does not feature a sheep, I felt compelled to include one in my drawing. Edvard Munch was deeply haunted by the proximity of a slaughterhouse to the bridge in Oslo. He was a fragile young man shaped by the traumatic experiences of his youth. Having lost both his mother and sister to devastating illnesses, he never found sanctuary in a healthy environment. What defines a good environment? For Munch, it would have been a world where he could eat without the echoes of slaughtered livestock, and live in a serene home protected from the damp, freezing air. In the painting, he covers his ears to block the horrific noise of the nearby killing center. He opens his mouth in a silent cry to explain how the mold walls of their home led his family to perish from tuberculosis. Edvard Munch Edvard Munch's struggle reminds us that we all require the three basic needs: nourishment, secure shelter, and a wholesome society governed by the divine mandate to love your neighbor as yourself. I want to control your messages. Please wait for a minute. Okay, we can continue our speaking, our work. I am preparing an English art lesson. This lesson consists of parts from my illustrations, related historical events, and illustration of famous art paintings. Every one of them is connected to the three basic needs. Can you remember illustrations like this from your childhood? There were some happy rabbits in safe living rooms like humans. We have a task: guaranteeing food, safe shelter, and the meaning of life for our next generation. We are preparing English Love Your Neighbor as Yourself education lessons for adults. They will be a sacred generation. I have an aim. This aim is very big and clear, but it is not compatible with the current system and my ideals. I support food for everyone, safe shelter for everyone, and education about the meaning of life. This aim sounds easy, but some people can ask, what is the meaning of life? This question is very important for me because there is only one answer to it. Love your neighbor as yourself. This is the meaning of life. We won't be able to love our neighbor perfectly as ourselves. But the meaning of life is this name. One should try to eat again and again. Do you remember illustrated stories from your childhood? There were some rabbits in beautiful illustrations with cozy clothes and living spaces like people in those storybooks. This is one of our main common needs. We know what our needs are: food, safe shelter, and a good environment. We want to live in a peaceful house, and we want to be sure that we have enough food. Our neighbors should be good people. At least they won't want to steal our food and or shelter, and maybe our wife, maybe husband or our children. This is my mission. I want to explain what the meaning of life is through my illustrations that are inspired by real art paintings, historical events, or economic struggles. Sometimes I want to buy a carpet like the mother rabbit's carpet, but I give up immediately because I don't feel that this is my house, this is my country, this is my world. I need a reason. Like all of humanity having food, safe shelter, and a good environment where society lives by the rule, love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, we should continue our speaking, and maybe from this part. Yes. This illustration is inspired by Vermeer's painting titled The Love Letter. Vermeer lived in Holland during the 17th century. While he was a respected artist, his financial situation collapsed due to the Franco-Dutch War in 1672, which caused a severe economic crisis. He lost his ability to sell paintings and fell into deep poverty and stress, which led to his death. He left behind a wife, 11 children, and a household in massive debt. Vermeer required a guarantee of food, safe shelter, and a stable environment. This environment should have been a society where people lived by the rule, love your neighbor as yourself. Every economic problem stems from a lack of guarantee for these three basic needs. In these paintings, there are beautiful dresses, you can see, servants, music and art reflecting a world of comfort, but when the war came, everything changed. And he did not know how to manage a household economy in such a time of crisis. I created an illustration inspired by Vermeer because I want to establish a school based on the principle of love your neighbor as yourself. This school should be located within a food forest with a building to display my illustrations and their stories. We should describe every word, every painting, and every historical event through the perspective of the three basic needs. The four stages with the Creator and the era of revelation. Why must we guarantee the three basic needs? The four stages of our relationship with God. Where are you? We are going through an extraordinary time when we can clearly define our relationship with the Creator. Here, together with you who hear these sentences, we are building the third stage, which is the reward and the punishment stage. You came here among billions of contents. Your most important reason for this is not that you like this video very much or that you decided to do a session of setting sad by hearing people's pains. You could have turned your head to another video. You could have swiped up with your finger and passed it. But something held you. It was as if an invisible hand said, "Stop, stay here." Our goal is not to count the deficiencies and the mistakes in the world here and turn into melancholic people. Our goal is to bring the third stage which is the reward and punishment stage to life. Now, let me tell you why you are in the third stage and others are in different stages. First of all, let us say the first stages of our relationship with the Creator. First stage, single concealment. A very large part of the people do not have healthy food and a safe living space, or they see the injustices in the world and accept this as the life God prepared for them. Sometimes a tyrant comes and takes even their last loaf of bread from their hands, or wars, poverty, economic crisis rise right before their eyes. Then they got a little angry, but they immediately suspect themselves, saying, God must know something. Did he send this tyrant, perhaps? But they continue their lives trying to forget this event. This stage is called single concealment. Second stage, double concealment. Another part of the people completely rejects the existence of God. Everything is either a coincidence or the work of nature, and in this case, the strong must defeat the weak and do whatever it takes to continue their life. Or they think, since God does not exist anyway, then we must establish some authorities that will fulfill God's duties. And since each of them tries to bring their own understanding of God, which has nothing to do with guaranteeing the three basic needs to life, the processes of suffering and harming others continue. This stage is called double concealment. Their numbers are rapidly increasing in the world today. Those who are in this stage are approaching you. Who are the third stage? Stage reward and punishment. This is third stage. This is where you are. You see God's mechanism of reward and punishment. You know that if you treat the soil well, it gives you a good crop. You know that when you grow monoculture plants, the number of harmful insects increases. If you plant various plants, beneficial insects increase. You know that when we provide healthy food and a safe living space to all people, we will receive the reward for this as all humanity. You know that if you behave badly, bad things will happen to you. If you behave well, good things will happen to you. You are looking forward to making this visible and for all people to pass to this stage. Because you are a volunteer. You are a volunteer to go through the love your neighbor as yourself education. This stage is called the reward and punishment stage. Fourth stage, revolution stage. Fourth stage. We will make the appropriate preparation on this YouTube channel and pass the rest of humanity, which is in the first three stages of its development and ourselves to this stage. This stage is the revolution stage. Revolution stage. Up to here, God was watching us from afar. From here on, We will place him among us through cameras, chips, magnetic fields, and we will watch him too. Since we say, don't all these evils happen to us because our God is not among us? A system where we will not be able to make mistakes, even if we want to, where God is everywhere, will be born. We are building this transition bridge. Divine law does not change. The person who adds to this law or subtracts something from this law, the person who harms the functioning of this law is cursed. That is, what they do is instantly detected, and they feel exactly as if Adam and Eve were left in shame when they ate the forbidden fruit. Their face turns completely red, their eyes well up, their hands tremble because they do not know how to explain this to God. All fingers point at them, all alarms ring for them. There is nothing they can do other than repenting and asking for forgiveness from the Creator. They will never steal. They will never steal someone else's food again. They will stay away from any behavior that will make their neighbor feel unsafe. The divine law and what the revolution stage will bring. This law is the guarantee of the three basic needs. 1. Healthy food for everyone. 2. Safe living space for everyone. 3. The meaning of life, which we call the love your neighbor as yourself education. This is the Creator's law. And we are not in the fourth stage right now. The answer to the question, don't all these evils happen to us because our God is not among us, is here. This stage, that is the revelation stage, is the stage where our bodies, which are born like gods, and our fake desires are clearly directed to the right purpose. When we pass to this stage, nothing that is hidden will remain hidden anymore. We need to start examining the fine line between our demand for privacy and our desire to hide the wrong things we do already. This is called intention correction. Let us observe why we cannot give up privacy, why we try to express this by shouting on social media as if it is our most important need. You will find a large mass that is against artificial intelligence and the camera control systems. Cameras, chips, artificial intelligence, and 3D printer technologies will make the divine mechanism visible. A way of life will be born where it is not possible to live in some privileges that others do not have by hiding. Even wanting to have more than others will be shameful. That is why everyone will know that if they want to live in better conditions, they must elevate all humanity along with themselves. This must have already started in you with a desire to do a job, that serves to guarantee the three basic needs. When a person makes a mistake, they will feel it immediately. They will feel this as shame, trembling, eyes welling up, because they know very well what the love and fear of God are. This new stage will not be a threat. It will be a purification, a cleansing, a mandatory ascension. Architects of the New World, the bridge builders. As people in the third stage, you stand here with a very important duty. I use this stage names when expressing the situation, but you can use different names if you want. The important bring us not what names we give to these stages, but that we are passing through the same field of logic and emotion. I paint watercolor illustrations. Maybe you saw beautiful clothes. Another writes a book, and another bakes bread. But throughout the day, only one fire burns in your heart, the fire of longing you feel for the revelation stage. You come here at the time of the live broadcast, and we remember the levels we forgot again, so that we do not think the world consists only of the emotion and logic at our own stage. We are preparing for the next stage. We will start this process in a simple, small area. The rest of the world will follow us. Those who are in the third stage are the ones who build a bridge for the next stage. Those people are a small community carrying the same fire in their hearts. Whether doing watercolors, baking bread, or sewing clothes, they are all included in this mission. Their duty is to prepare the ground for the revolution stage. Solana created this piece during the Black Spain era. Throughout the 1920s, a vast majority of the population endured severe destitution, particularly women such as these choir singers. They struggled to secure sufficient nourishment, surviving entirely on daily rations of garbanzo or chickpea stew. At the lower right corner of the canvas, you can observe the dog. This creature symbolizes the secure sanctuary and unwavering loyalty that the young choir singer was tragically denied throughout her existence. Every masterpiece and historical occurrence ought to be analyzed through the lens of our three fundamental needs. Countless women today share the plight of the choir singer in the yellow gown, and it is entirely within our power to construct a community and uplifts every single one of them. How do we achieve this? We possess unoccupied lands and abundant plant life. We have the capability to construct homes using earth-friendly materials, grow sustainable food forests, and found an academy dedicated to teaching the true purpose of existence. What is the ultimate lesson for those chorus singers? The people who exploited them and each one of us, regardless of our status as the oppressed or the oppressor, an education rooted in the principle of loving your neighbor as yourself is the only path that can guarantee universal access to sustenance, secure housing, and a harmonious environment for all. This mission is the great marathon of our time. We have the power to shape a better civilization for the generations to come. Our journey can begin quite simply through our social media platforms and virtual gatherings. I have volunteered my life to this cause. You can begin to support my vision of establishing a school founded on loving your neighbor as yourself, a place sustained by the harvest of a food forest housed in structures made of natural elements and focused on the meaning of life. We are merely visitors on this planet, and we have the opportunity to journey through this existence while sharing a magnificent song. See you next live broadcast.